Hello, and thanks for joining me again for a, revisit. This is Capel Colman again. When I last made a video about Capel Colman, it was in the pandemic and I couldn't get inside, so I thought it was time I came and showed you what it's like inside. I think I'll read you what it says in the Buildings of Wales. St Colman, a rustic delight with echoes of rural Ireland in its isolated but neatly walled churchyard, rebuilt 1835-7 for Morgan Jones of Kilwendeg by Daniel Davis of Capel Colman in a most cardboard Gothic. The grave of Mr. Daniel Davis is just behind this hedge. He lived on a nearby farm and was not an architect. I don't think he would be flattered by the term cardboard Gothic, though. Nor would Daniel Davis really recognise the inside, because in the 1890s a Richard Thomas of Cardigan, about whom I know nothing, had a go at tidying it up a bit and modernising it. So let's have a look. The first thing we see is the possibly 13th century font, which bizarrely is built into the gallery wall. Sort of trapped there in perpetuity, must make baptism quite difficult. And as you see, we enter underneath the gallery, which is plastered and supported on these pillars. And as it was built in the 1830s, the chancel, doesn't really exist. This was once a preaching box with a three-decker pulpit on the south side. The current pulpit, which looks as though it was from the 1850s, is, I presume, from the 1894 restoration. And then, of course, we have some monuments to the gentry, a rather saccharine and somewhat insipid 1890s window, which nobody has owned up to, no signature, and a mid-20th century altar. There are more memorials to the family of Kilwendeg Mansion, and some rather pretty organ pipes on the organ, which I believe is by Vowles of Bristol. Takes up rather a lot of space. And then there's that memorial, which I'll talk about later. And there we see Daniel Davis's gallery, the only bit of the church that hasn't been messed about with. I will freely admit, and you may already know, that I'm not good with galleries, and I'm not brilliant with ladders either. I get altitude sickness standing on a chair. So bear with me while we go up here, and then you can see from the gallery. Ooh dear, plaster fall, not good. And there we have some rather narrow and unspectacular seating. And round this corner is another ladder, which I think goes up to the tower. Let there be light, and there was light, yes. And obviously some sort of bird's nest up there, so that would indicate a tower. Yes, I won't go up there if you don't mind. And here's the back of the gallery, and what a shoddy and unfinished job it is too. I hope that's the bird's nest twigs I'm treading on and not the floor giving way. So we have a lime plaster backing coat, and this was obviously left in the 1830s and never finished. But I suppose nobody sees, except now you have. I did promise you a view from the gallery. I've been putting it off, but here goes, and there's the original flat ceiling with probably a later ceiling rose Very chapel, that, isn't it? A spare pew. Oh my goodness, that must have been difficult to get up here. And the obligatory fire extinguisher. And yes, the gentry memorials, very prominent here. Which reminds me, I was going to tell you all about this one. This memorial is to the memory of Mary, the wife of the Reverend John Jones. It's by Daniel Mannering of Carmarthen, although I don't think he was having a good day when he made this. That weeping willow is incredibly stiff, and he missed the N out of his own name when he signed it. John Jones married again, and his wife Eliza got this somewhat better memorial, which also commemorates him, and on either side 2 plaques to the Lord Phillips children. His daughter married Arthur Lord Phillips of Fleckred. Perhaps like me, you're a bit curious about that font and wonder what the other side looks like. So I'm going to take you into the cupboard under the gallery and we'll see if we can find the back end of it. This doesn't go anywhere, there are no stairs in here, and nothing to see. It really is buried in the wall. How very odd. I hope you found St Colman's Capel Colman as fascinating as I did. It's an odd place, it's quirky but appealing, I think. If you want to visit it yourself, it's open in the summer until September, and it's open on Thursdays only. You can also visit the Shell House at Kilwendeg at the same time if you'd like to, and make the trip worthwhile. Please remember to click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more such videos. And as always, thank you for watching.